Hello, and welcome to Mindset Mondays with DTK. This is episode number 70 in an ongoing series created for folks with a growth mindset or those who'd like to create one. Um, welcome to the playground today. I'm following on a theme from last week, and I'll get to the quote in just one second. I want to ask you a favor. Click on the share button just beneath this video and invite your folks, your friends, your community to this broadcast. Love to have more people in the conversation. And it looks like, despite turning it off, that banner may be tickering across the screen. So apologize. Hopefully that will disappear as we keep going. So here's the quote we're going to play with today. This is following on a theme from last week. It's not that I'm so smart. It's just that I stay with the problem longer. Famous quote from Einstein. Again, it's not that I'm that much smarter. It's that I stayed with the problem longer. And this one seems so elegantly simple again. Just the idea that persistence, staying with the problem longer is the gift in and of itself. Giving up is often the quick and easy. I always worry about quick and easy or quick and I used to say quick and dirty. The only problem is the dirty stays around a lot longer than the quick. And it's sort of the same idea that the quick and easy, that it may be easy, but here in this case, the quick has a tragic and long lasting impact. The second guessing, the self criticism, the self flogging, that self abuse, for me, lingers long after the quitting is done. So it may be easy, it has a long lasting cost. All too often, merely the persistence that makes the difference between success and failure. The idea of staying with it longer, reclaiming the brain, being calm, sitting with the problem, allowing new ideas and new concepts to be triggered. That can be the opportunity. I'm reminded of the image of a guy digging a mine, and it's a cartoon of the guy digging down and then horizontally, and he quits and turns around and starts to walk out of the tunnel he's dug, and one more shovelful would have gotten him to the mass of diamonds just behind it in the cartoon. And I feel like so often we're quitting before we strike the diamonds. We're quitting before we get to the treasure, that we give up because it's just been too hard for too long. And granted, playing with mathematical equations, theoretical math and theoretical physics may feel different. It's the same idea, just being with the problem long enough and moving through the struggle and moving through the self-talk and the self-doubt. It's like flexing that muscle of perseverance can be drilled down to something as simple as sort of four elements. One is committing to the vision. Now, part of our challenge when we create an idea of where we want to be next is that we tend to, the second we say, ooh, this is the outcome I want, we focus on the how. We lose track of the rich, resonant image of what that desired future state looks like. And one of the ways that I plan with clients is through the process, we divorce ourselves from the how and connect to that desired future state and create a deep, resonant image of that desired future state. And there are three elements that I use for that. CEO is the acronym I use. The O, the operational part, that's the part we're good at. 3 years from now, this is what I want the company to look like. We'll be doing this, we'll have that, and so on. That's the operational flow. Well, also the next level up is the emotional field, playing with what are the emotions that I'm feeling throughout the day? What are the emotions around me? Looking at that emotional field And the next layer, the highest level, is the cultural. Where is this happening? What's the impact? What is my reach? What's the footprint of the playground? So looking at the cultural, the emotional, and operational allows you to create a really rich, resonant image of that vision, right? So committing to that vision, leaning into and reconnecting constantly to what that vision looks and feels like, right? And the next one is choosing a positive mindset. We got 70 episodes of this, 70 weeks worth of broadcast to look at the power of mindset and why it's so critical. It's reconnecting back to that positive mindset. The third one is structuring daily focus, creating a container and time to actually do the work, to stay with the problem and give it a structured daily focus to it on that desired outcome, right? And not just focusing on the work itself, but again, structured daily focus on those desired outcomes. There's doing the work and there's creating the container around it. So the three really are committing to the focus, choosing a positive mindset, and structuring daily focus on those desired outcomes and the daily work itself, right? With those three components in daily work, you make yourself more resilient to the inevitable bumps in the road because challenges happen. Launching a business, launching a new product, creating a new division, whatever the element is that you're working on, being clear and committed to the vision, holding that positive mindset, and creating a structured daily focus on the desired outcomes. Your job for your team is to constantly paint that picture for the team. Become an expert in painting the picture of that desired outcome. And I've used this example before. We go back to the example that Simon Sinek uses with Martin Luther King. His speech wasn't the I have a plan speech. It's the I have a dream speech. Paint the picture of what that desired future state, what those desired outcomes are, and bring that to your team constantly, right? That's the opportunity in your leadership. So go back and look at the quote. It's not that I'm so smart, it's just that I stay with the problems longer. Okay, well, it did help that he was that smart. That much smarter. That helped too. So never leave the inherent skill sets out, right? It's not just the persistence, it's being in your zone of genius as well. You know? And there are a couple other ways to look at this. I shared the book last week, Austin Kleon's book, Keep Going, the 10 different ways that creatives can keep driving through the inherent emotional energy suck that happens during the creative process. But there's also, on the flip side, Seth Godin. Seth Godin talks about, in his book, The Dip, knowing when to stick it out and knowing when to quit, and saying that those who are successful know when to quit. And it's a phenomenal book. It's called The Dip, and it's very helpful in getting a flavor of knowing when to quit. So two cool resources for you in this playground. I'm reminded of a ride that I did. It's called the Brasstown Baldbuster. Brasstown Bald is a mountain here in North Georgia. I'd never done the ride before, and I was 80 odd miles into the 100-mile ride, and there was this nasty climb and I could, every time I got up to what I thought was a summit, I could see another rise in front of me. So I kept getting these false summits, and I didn't know the route, which would have been helpful to know the route. Like I said, I'm some 80 miles in and I'm bloody exhausted. And instead of powering through, I pulled off to the side of the road and regrouped, ate a little bit, drank a little bit, and spent about 10 minutes regrouping and climbed back on the bike, rode an eighth of a mile. And as I crest that next piece, not only is it the summit of that particular climb, there was a rest stop immediately on the right. So go back to, had I known, I could have powered up that last eighth of a mile. But there's that piece of staying with it, staying in the zone. And yes, I totally could have gone that other eighth of a mile. I had talked myself out of being persistent. I had talked myself out of powering through. I had what I needed. I psyched myself out and I stopped. And there's so many other times where I have done that in my business. And I know there are times that we all have. So, the question I asked in the email this week was, what awaits your persistence? What gain, what growth, what leap, what reward awaits your persistence? What are the opportunities that are waiting for you if you just push? I'm taking a pause because I know it takes a little while for comments to sift through. This is the playground that I want you to lean on this week. It's what are the areas where your success is dependent on your persistence, where the playground for you is, where are you stepping back and psyching yourself out? Committing to your vision, choosing a positive mindset, and structuring daily focus on those desired outcomes. A simple 3 elements to flexing that muscle around persistence. Take it back to the bike ride. Holding that, I have several folks I've ridden with who the conversation is really interesting. It's, do you look at the ground in front of you or do you focus on the top? I've seen cyclists fall into 2 different categories. Focusing on the road so you don't think about or get psyched out by what's ahead of you, or merely focusing on the top and holding that focus of reaching the top, period. I've played it both ways. I find that when I'm wiped out looking at the road, I don't get psyched out. But here's the difference. Choosing that positive mindset and keeping a structured focus on the desired outcomes aligned to staring at the top of the hill and focusing just on the top of the hill. Yes, in terms of safety, you're still able to see the road as you go. You're really focused far ahead. But that opportunity to maintain that focus on the goal that you're going to achieve. That opportunity to flex the muscle of persistence. Committing to the vision. Choosing that positive mindset. And dedicating daily focus to that desired future state. When you drill down just about anything, it becomes simple, right? One of the other things that Einstein was famous for was the idea that if you can't explain it simply, then you just don't understand it well enough. Right? One of the other pieces that he said is Einstein said there are 5 ascending levels of intellect: smart, intelligent, brilliant, genius, and simple. So how do we drill this down to its simplest form? Again, 5 ascending levels of intellect: smart, intelligent, brilliant, genius, simple. The highest order of intellect, he said, was simple. So how do we make this simple? How do you make perseverance simple? The richer your vision, the deeper your commitment to that vision and your willingness to choose a positive mindset, you have the power That's the most important piece about this entire project, this entire Mindset Mondays project, is owning that your power, your opportunity is to choose your mindset. So here's a piece. Oh, and Irv says he practiced mindfulness on rides. I would love you to share anything around your practice of mindfulness on rides, because I think not only is it useful for me on a ride, I think it would be really useful here. So if you'll bring that to mindsetmondays.com, sorry, facebook.com/group/mindset Monday, and please share that. I'll even share that with my riding groups. What I want to offer you for this week is the mindset to choose. Right? Going along with what awaits your perseverance. I'd love to know, what mindset will you choose for this week to help you lean into your vision, to commit to choosing a positive mindset, and to creating a daily structure to focus on your desired future state? What mindset will you, between now and next week, what mindset will you choose?